Hey fellas, me Trapper here. Today I'm going to talk about trap setters, what the different types of trap setters are, and why you may or may not want to use trap setters. Now, I've been trapping for 30 years, and honestly, I have never used trap setters with the exception of maybe the rope to help set conibears or to do a self-rescue when caught in a conibear. I just never saw the need for them or justify the expense or what have you, because I was young, I was strong, I could set traps by hand, and it was sort of one of those prideful things. You know, we see that a lot in the outdoor community. But some months ago, I had surgery, and one of the side effects of that surgery was I was not able to exert my upper body strength like I normally used to. Hence, I started having trouble setting some of the stronger traps out there. So I invested in trap setters. Now, once I actually started using these labor-saving devices, it made me really question why I had waited so many years to start using them, because normally people that use trap setters may have arthritis issues in their hands. They have, issues with their hands. Maybe they're elderly, female, or what have you. There's always some excuse. But the bottom line is these things are labor-saving devices. And even if you're young and strong and in the vigor of your life, when you're out setting 100, 150 traps, that is a lot of muscle energy that you're using to set those traps. And if you have a labor-saving device, why not go ahead and take advantage of it and save that strength for actually making the sets and using in the skinning shed and hauling catches out of the woods, etc., etc., etc. Now, I see a lot of idiotic, stupid comments on YouTube, such as, if you can't set traps by hand, you ought not to be trapping, and all this idiotic bullshit. You know, if you took that logic and you applied it across the board, that would say something like, if you can't put a backpack on your back and walk from your house and walk your trap line and carry your traps and your catch out on your back, then you shouldn't be a trapper. You know, you shouldn't use any labor-saving devices like a truck or a four-wheeler or side-by-side. So to hell with that type of reasoning. So let's head back to the shop. I'm going to show you the different types of setters that I use for the different types of traps, what I like about them, what I don't like about them, and which ones I prefer the most. So let's take a look. Okay, the first thing to know is that not every setter will work with every trap. Some traps are special and they have to have their own setters. This is my favorite beaver foothold trap, the TS85. And these are setters that are specially made to fit the levers of the TS85. And you can see, pretty simple, just some square tubing with the catches welded on there. One thing you'll notice is that I dummy cord them together. They're also painted orange. That's important. And all this does is very easy to use. That just slips on that lever. That slips on that lever. You push it down, and what I like to do is you need to either hold one down with a knee or a foot. So when I'm setting them, I'll just put my knee on one, and you can see that makes it very easy to set that trap. Requires very little effort. Just like that. Once again, watch out, girl. Put that on there. Put your knee on one or your foot. You're good to go. Very simple. A lot of times I like to use these Bridger number 3s on my beaver line as well. Now, this is the WCS, Wildlife Control Supplies setter, and this is also known as a Maine style setter, like after the state of Maine. I guess that's where it came from. But you have one bar that's long and one bar that's a little stouter and that's shorter. And the way this works is, you see there's slots in each plate. You stick one with the bar up, one with the bar down, and you can simply hold it with one hand. You can do whatever you want. Very simple, very easy to set. Once again, make sure your dog is out of the way. One bar up, one bar down, like that. Very easy. All right, when it comes to Conibears, hands down, in my opinion, the absolute best setter on the market is the RTS setter. Now, there's another model out there that's cheaper than this one. It's not nearly as well built. This device here is specially built. It's not just a repurposed hardware tool. This had some hooks built on it. This thing is engineered from the ground up to handle the strong springs on some of these bigger Conibears. What we got here is a 280, which is a very stout trap. And the first setter that you always need to be aware of and always need to have with you is a rope setter. And it's simply a piece of stout rope with a foot loop in it. And you can see how big I make that because when I'm out on the beaver line, I'm usually in waders or wearing big rubber boots. Make sure you can easily get your foot through that boot loop. And then you have your length of rope. The other thing for a rope setter is you want to check your spring eyes and make sure that they're closed. If there is a gap in that spring eye and you go to use a rope setter, that rope will pull through it or get hung up in the gap. Not good, especially if you're caught in excruciating pain. Trust me, I can promise you that. So if you want to see how to use the rope setter, you can go to my playlist, Conibear School, and I'll show you exactly how to use this. It's pretty simple, but always have one of these wadded up in your pocket or where you can get to it. Best insurance you'll have. Now, that being said, this RTS trap setter, you just pull it apart like that. One hook is going to go on the bottom of the spring. The other hook is going to go on the top of the spring. At this point, all you do is squeeze the handle, and little by little, it's going to compress that spring. And once you get that spring compressed, it's very simple, just to put the safety on, and then release that, and it's set. Then you just repeat the process on the other side. Just like that. It's a little slow, but it is pretty effortless, and it's a one-handed operation. You can see I'm just using one hand to squeeze that. Once again, you get that spring compressed, put your safety on, release it, and you're done. At that point, you're ready to set your trap. Now, the next thing I want to show you is once you go to make your set, I always use the clothespin type safety. And you can see that you just squeeze that together. And at this point, if you're working and you trigger that trap, you're protected. It's not going to bite you, even if the safeties are off. So you can flip that over. Of course, I've got mud in there now. Let's take that safety off. Let's take that safety off. So the trap is now live. Flip it, and you can see that's as far as that trap is going to fire right there. You're completely protected. No safeties on it at all. See, that doesn't want to stay set. Look at there. Now you can see why it's important. Use that notch. That's the one I always use. So, why is this so important? When you're in the beaver woods, you're slipping and sliding in mud. I've slipped with my boot and had my boot accidentally hit the trigger and set the trap off. You can be trying to put guiding sticks in and nudge the trap and set the trap off. It's very frustrating to have that thing go off in your face. And also, you don't want it going off on your hand, and you don't want it going off on your foot. Trust me. So once you've got your set completely made, the last thing I do, and you can't miss, see how this is bright yellow and it's up on the top? You can't walk away from a set with this safety still on it. It's very easy to walk away from your set with the spring safety still on because they're underwater when you're beaver trapping. But this is sticking up and it's bright yellow. So the last thing you do is remove that, and notice you're working from the top. You're working from outside of the kill area of the trap. So even if you trigger that trap getting this off, your hand is out of the way. So to me, these two tools right here are indispensable when working with Conibears. You do not want to get your hands or your feet caught in them, especially when it's freezing cold and you're a long way from the truck, trust me. Let me show you a trap setter that I do not like and I think is a complete and total waste of money. This little aluminum type deal right here that has notches cut in it for long springs. Now you can use these on 110s and 120s, which is nice, you know. But for working with long springs, here's the problem. So this is a Sleepy Creek number 11 double long spring. And this little U-shaped piece of metal here is your replacement U-clip, okay? Notice they have replacement on there. That's because you're going to be buying a crap load of these. These get lost almost instantly. And then you still have trouble using the setter. Let me show you. You can see it's got the cutouts here for the long springs. So if you're going to take this and you're going to compress this spring, at this point you've got to have something to hold this spring closed. And that's what this little U-clip is supposedly for. But let me show you what happens. So we're going to compress this spring. We'll put the U-clip on there. Now, provided that this clip doesn't go flying off into outer space somewhere, it'll stay and it'll hold that spring. Now here's the problem. Look at the gap. You see how wide that is? Now if I go and I do the other side, now if I try and get those jaws to open up, it's too wide. It doesn't work. I can't, using the provided clip, I can't get this spring closed tight enough on a number 11. I'm still trying to force it. And you can see that's trying to work its way off. So for me, if I was using a lot of 120s, this would be worth it. But for long springs, I think this is a piece of junk and it doesn't work for me. Maybe your results are different. And if you do try and go with one of these that sets the long springs, make sure you buy extra ones of those. They like to go flying off. So just my thoughts. All right, so hopefully that was of value. There are different types of setters that you can buy for different types of traps, and there's not just one right answer. A lot of it depends on your personal preference, whether you're going to be on foot, whether you're going to be in a vehicle, and that sort of thing. So anyway, hope it was useful. Thanks for watching, and we'll see y'all next time.